Hello, everyone. I hope that you're well. This is Jaha Zainabu, and welcome to Storytime with Jaha Zainabu. Um, Today was beautiful. I spent a lot of time getting things together for my art show on Saturday. So things are looking up. I'm excited about the show. I'm excited about the art that I'll be showing. I'm excited about people being excited about being here. So that's a good thing. Um, the other thing, I had a very good and long talk with my very best friend today. And it was a good conversation. And inside of the conversation, I um, had the opportunity to just step back and um, see myself and see how far I've come, see what I have achieved. And I don't mean achieved as far as material things. I mean, I've come a very, very long way um, with myself and the work that I've done on myself and the very good work I've done on myself. Work through every way that I can work on myself, through therapy, through um, journaling, art, conversations, um, prayer, meditation. And I look back and I feel good. I feel good about myself, and that, I have gone through days where I've had days and times before, even recently, where I would sometimes get down on myself. And I'm not there. Um, I look back and I, like, for a young girl um, who really um, who really um, lived inside of um, some forms of dysfunction. Let's be real. Um, some forms of dysfunction. I lived in a very image conscious home. Image was everything. And and of course that's not said. Um, and I didn't know that that was um, I didn't know that that was weird. I thought that that was how everybody did it. Um, but when I stepped back and looked back, it was image over it was image over mental health. It was how we looked or how we appeared to everyone over everything. Um, yeah. Um, we always had, we always had a new car, or we always had nice clothes. We always had, we always ate. We always had the material things that we needed and wanted. We always had we always had those things. Um, but we were for people who existed in the home who did not necessarily emotionally connect with one another. Um, I would, I spent much of my time in my room practicing my cursive. That was my thing. My sister, um, I don't know what she did. I don't know what she did. Um, my sister, I mentioned before, is 4 years younger than I, and we grew up in the same house, but I don't remember her in a lot of my childhood stories. I mean, I don't remember her, um, like, I took care of her. Um, I was in charge of, combing my sister's hair and getting her clothes together and um, making sure she was straight. But um, we really didn't spend a lot of time together. Um, she had her friends, I had my friends. We didn't spend time together in school because of the age difference. In elementary school, we walked to school together, but I was a big kid and she was a little kid, so she was on the little kids' playground. I'm on the big kids' playground. Um, we didn't do middle school together because of the age, and we went to separate middle schools. But we weren't in middle school at the same time. We were not in high school at the same time. After um, when I graduated from high school, um, I began a work journey. When my sister graduated from high school, she went straight to college in Texas. So we didn't, the Venn diagram that connects us is, it's a very thin circle. It's almost two separate circles. Yeah, I don't remember a lot of her, even though we were in the house at the same time. All four of us kind of did our separate things. My father was always with his friends. My mother worked a lot. My mother, it was a heavy, it was heavy on her. That all the heavy was on her. Um, she worked, um, and she studied a lot. She went to school. She put it down. Um, it did not leave time for us as, um, I don't know if it was time. I don't know if time was the thing or um, if emotional connection was just missing. My mother did not come from a family where they connected and shared feelings and expressed themselves. She was from a come. She comes from a very big family, and my grandparents weren't expressive, um, emotionally available, and so yeah, they weren't. Um, and it wasn't something that we grew up with. Yeah, it wasn't. We didn't grow up with it. And like I said, my father was in the house for most of my childhood. My father was in the house, but never, hardly ever really present. Um, as soon as he could, when he would come home from work, he would go down the street to his, to be with his friends or wherever his friends were hanging out. He would be there, and he would come home when he came home. Um, so there wasn't a time that we all sat around or we talked about or um, if there was that time, I have no memory of it. I have no memory of it. Um, I remember being an I remember being an adult in adult situations in a lot at home. I remember being the friend to my mother, and even the friend to my father in times when I should have been parented instead. A friend did. Like looking back, it's like I'm not one of y'all's big friends. Parents, I'm not one of your little friends. I'm not one of y'all's big friends, okay? Um, but in the moment, it didn't feel weird. It felt natural because that's what you know. That's what you know. Um, I don't know. Like that emotional thing that friend that I think that's why I think that's why I loved writing so much. I think that's why I was so heavily into my journals or into my stories. My stories told, my stories were always me, but with a different name, a different character, and kind of the adventures of really me. And my journals were the place where I could deposit my feelings. My journals were the place where I could express myself. My journal was a place where I lived out my version of a healthy relationship. Um, where, for, as much as for what I imagined a healthy relationship was. There was, my character was a girl and she had a boyfriend or what, as I got older. Um, but my early writing was I was always my character. What in every story was always beating up bullies. Was always um, magically da 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 da, appearing and beating up bullies. I was bullied in school. Um, I was bullied, yeah, and I didn't not so much physically. I mean, there were times I was pushed and um, tripped, and there were times that happened, but it was more a psychological um, thing where you know some of the girls would talk about me really badly, and I was afraid to defend myself. Um, so there existed that, but you know what I love, and one of the things that I set back and noticed today was that I love how I am standing up for little Robin who lived in me. My name is Robin. Um, that the Robin who was a young girl who was bullied and who sat in a corner with her head between her knees and her, you know, arms wrapped around her legs. I am ushering her up. She's standing up. She's standing up. And she can depend on me now to fight for her, to speak for her. When I have conversations, when I have had conversations with um, people in my past, and I would say things like, well, when I was little and this happened, and why did this, and da 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 da. Sometimes people would change the subject and um, or offer an excuse as to why this happened or something happened, um, and it would be it would be not really an excuse, but more of like a change subject, like a deflection, like oh blah 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 blah, like a throwaway, and then like we change the subject, and then and I would let that happen. I would let the subject change and never circle back. And now I'm not doing that. Like now I'm okay, but back to what I asked. Why did this happen? Or, um, because for me back before in conversations before, I felt like, well, obviously this person doesn't want to deal with this conversation yet, so maybe now is not the time. But now is never the time. And so, um, but now is the time for me. And I'm just in a place where my feelings over everybody's feelings. My feelings over everybody's feelings. My time over everybody's time. And I care less and less about what that looks like. Um, I spent my whole life being concerned about everybody's feelings. Everybody's feelings. Um, and I would just, oh, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. I'll be okay. But no, I'll be okay when my questions get answered, or I'll be okay when I say what I have to say. I'll be okay when I express myself. So that's where we are now. I love y'all. Thank you for listening.